Hey everyone, John from Nintendo Life here, and we're pretty close to the launch of Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, which is a port of a big 3D Mario game that not many people have played. But before we get to that, which I am excited for, I want to talk about a game that came before it, one that is seemingly being a bit forgotten. It's finally time to play the game everyone's talking about. It's Super Mario 3D Land. When 3D All-Stars was announced, there was this huge and fair buzz about the lack of Galaxy 2. If Nintendo's preserving their lineup of 3D Mario games, it's bizarre to leave out a game that's just as prominent as the others, and is kinda happening again with 3D Land. Only, the voices standing up for it this time aren't as strong. So why is that? Is 3D Land simply a lesser game? Well, after returning to it for a full playthrough, I really don't think so. I will say though, my memories for this one weren't really that strong. I kinda just remembered it as a 3D New Super Mario Bros. Game, one I remembered enjoying, but little more attachment than that. In hindsight, that memory was very wrong. 3D Land is just as strong as a 3D Mario as most games in the series. I'm not going to tell you it's better than them because frankly, I don't believe that myself, but there's still a lot of reasons this game should be remembered. This wasn't replaced by 3D World, not by a long shot, and now that we've had a new sandbox Mario with Odyssey, I think we're seeing a new wave of appreciation for the linear hybrid Marios. At least that's what I'm seeing in my circles. At the time, 3D Land was essentially the identity of the 3DS. And by the way, this game will be 10 years old later this year. Yikes. So let's take you back. The 3DS as a system was failing. It needed an extremely early price cut, and more than anything, it needed games. For some reason, Steel Diver wasn't pushing units. But then, in came the double whammy of Mario Kart 7 and Super Mario 3D Land. To many people, this is where the 3DS really started. Not only did these games have wide appeal, but 3D Land in particular made people realize, oh, this is why you push 3D so much. Being a 3D Mario is a big deal. Each have influenced game design and set the groundwork for a generation to follow, and it's easy to point at 3D Land and say, this did nothing. But I don't think that's right. This game was the justification of Stereoscopic 3D. Now Nintendo make this point difficult to argue in the systems without 3D, but please bear with me. One of the trickiest things to do in a 3D Mario game is simply perceive where a block is. A lot of 3D platforming relies on shadows, and when shadows aren't prominent, a simple jump may take you multiple attempts. To make this less of an issue, the Galaxy games were very clever to get the most out of their fixed angles. 3D World is very similar, but 3D Land uses a lot of angles that simply wouldn't work in those games. You're watching this video in 2D. Does this look like a good angle to you? How about this? Or how about this? It's a much harder game to play in 2D, but as soon as you jam that slider up, suddenly everything makes sense. Platforms that seem level with each other are actually meters apart in verticality. You can judge how close Mario is to an enemy. You can make out all the distinct layers to a level. It had never been easier to move around on a 3D plane. And of course, they use 3D to wow you visually too. Particles float all around you, including out of the screen. Enemies swim in from the background and jump into the foreground. And even these 2D letters that Peach sends you look outstanding. I like shaking them around. That's fun. Now, Galaxy was already well on its way to mixing 2D and 3D Mario together, but without losing the fluidity of 2D Mario, it couldn't quite be done. But 3D Land finally made that jump. This was a 3D Mario game with traditional power-ups. In Galaxy, you'd pick up a fire flower, and it would go dun 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 dun, and then it'd be gone. But in 3D Land, it's as permanent as any 2D Mario game. Until you get hit, that is. Levels are on a timer, they end with a flagpole, and there's a run button. But there's also attributes to 3D Mario, like the long jump and the backflip. They've been nerfed considerably, but the DNA of the two very different forms of Mario are in there, and somehow they work together brilliantly. And I want to emphasize just how close Galaxy was, specifically Galaxy 2. There's a lot of levels in 3D Land which feel like they come directly from that game. And it's not just a few levels reusing ideas, and there are, but it's more how everything's presented. Let's take progression for one. In New Super Mario Bros., every level in this water world is themed after water, right? Some are beaches, some are underwater, but they all fall under a predictable set. That's normal of 2D Mario. In Galaxy though, those presets don't exist. There isn't a bundle of water levels, they can appear anywhere, and both 3D Land and 3D World follow the exact same template. Like this blue-themed world, what should this be? Water? Well, this one is water, but then this one's a desert, and then this is some kind of bubble skyland, and then this is a cookie world. Okay, this one's the tropical world. Yes, nailed it! Wait, that's a desert again. That's a ghost house. That's like Galaxy. and snow. Okay, this is clearly the desert. You can't interpret this as anything else. And so we have desert. Yep. This is kind of a desert. That's galaxy. That's underground. And sky. Okay, the final world. Lava. This can't break the theme, and it does. So it kind of bugs me that I remembered this as a new Super Mario Bros. Game, because 3D Land is bursting with so much originality that it can't keep itself to level presets. That would hinder it. In fact, you can see just how many ideas this game has by how levels end. See, the journey to the flagpole in every single level highlights the key idea of that level. This one's all about riding switches around, so of course it climaxes in the exact same way. This level's about bouncing on tightropes, and again, that's how we clear this one too. This one's about pressing switches that makes these panels unfold, and unsurprisingly, that is exactly how it ends. Big gimmick of this level is this ghostly block that flashes around, and you guessed it, we end on that. Not only does this try and spice up an overused level finale, but just look at how many ideas are unique to every single level of this game. How long can I drag out this sentence? The new series occasionally tries this, but I think the difference just showcases the depth of another dimension. In almost every instance, New Super Mario Bros. Just uses another kind of platform. Like, what's the idea here? That the platforms look like mushrooms? Sometimes it goes a bit more in depth, but you can point to just about any 3D Land level ending and it will showcase something far more ambitious. If you haven't played this game in years, then boot it up and just run around the overworld for a bit. Chances are, these dioramas will make you remember more than you think. It may look a bit more like this mechanically, but the sheer volume of ideas is far more like this. These ideas just won't stop. So you get to the end of World 8 and beat Bowser. Finale, right? Well, it seems like they had ideas for 2 more levels, one of which is another Bowser Castle. Cool little fake out, here's the real ending. But then Luigi's been kidnapped and now you've got to save him. Alright, so there's this special world full of mostly remixed levels and a few entirely new ones, and for finishing those you can finally play as Luigi! Nice! Now we can... oh, there's Special World 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Yeah, they basically packed a sequel into this. Super Mario 3D Land has so much content, and yeah, the initial playthrough is definitely on the easy side. I mean, I had 100 lives by World 6, but what it lacked in difficulty, it made up for with its imaginative ideas and cozy vibe. I wouldn't say the special worlds ever get too challenging, but they certainly push you to play with more advanced techniques. For instance, I'm pretty sure the long jump and backflip are never required in the main game, but there are certain star coins in the special worlds that outright require them. But despite the fake out ending, despite Luigi, despite an entire game's worth of remix levels and new levels, there's one more post-game level. To get this, you first need every star coin, okay. Then you've got to beat every level as Mario, alright, and Luigi. Wait, why both? You've got to hit the top of the flagpole in every single level. No, why though? And then you'll unlock Special 8 Crown, essentially the Champion's Road of 3D Land. Honestly, the process of unlocking it is the worst part. The level itself is pretty tame, definitely the easiest post-game level of a 3D Mario game, especially if you go in with the Tanooki suit. Oh yeah, the Tanooki suit. I have a feeling that in this era, Nintendo liked using the Tanooki suit. While this definitely got a bit oversaturated, I still really like it here. Before it appeared everywhere, this was the first major return in over 20 years. It's nice having a safety net in a 3D Mario, whether it's Flood, Galaxy Spin, Cappy, and the high prominence of the Tanooki suit basically replicates that. Although it can make everything a bit too easy. You can't fly anymore, but you can skip so many platforming sections. The difficulty may have been a bit better balanced if this suit wasn't everywhere. You can store items too, so even if you lose one, there's always a backup. Honestly, everything 3D Land did made New Super Mario Bros. 2, which came out the following year, feel a bit basic. New Super Mario Bros. Wii and Galaxy were clearly very different games, but 3D Land blurred the line, and so we had one 2D 3D hybrid focused on the Tanooki suit, and then one 2D game focused on the Tanooki suit, 1 year apart. At least you could fly, I guess, and pick up lots of coins? I wouldn't say 3D Land is a flawless game, but it packs in so many ideas and executes them all effortlessly. Every level is bursting with imagination, and they're built perfectly for the short bursts of a handheld. It seemingly did everything it needed to do. And so when 3D World was initially revealed, the reception wasn't exactly warm. So what, it's a multiplayer 3D Land, but without the 3D, in HD? Is being a cat really the big next step for 3D Mario? It was the most boring reveal they could have given this game because, yeah, this looks like 3D Land. But in reality, 3D World is so much grander. Look at all this. 3D World took what made 3D Land so special, but did it on a much broader scope. It's way more than what Mario U was to Mario Wii. This is equal to any new Mario iteration with its ideas and ingenuity. And it's when people saw this trailer that it was clear. Oh right, this game is a big deal. Still, it wasn't until we got a new Sandbox Mario that 3D World appreciation truly found its golden era. And with it about to launch on the Switch, it'll be interesting to see how people see this compared to other 3D Marios. Could the tight, linear platforming actually be better than some Sandbox games? Honestly, on some levels I absolutely think so. But while 3D World's appreciation grows, let's not forget what came before. 3D Land may live in the shadow of its successor, but it's very much its own game, packed with multiple games worth of ideas. So what do you guys think the legacy of Mario 3D Land is? Is it really as good as other 3D Mario games? Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to go to that subscribe button and view it in Stereoscopic 3D, and we'll see you next time. Bye everyone. I love this level here, so the designers went through the effort to design an entire underwater section. But if you have the tanooki suit, you can just jump over it. Oh dear.